Remember the 2021 Boston Celtics? Yeah, they were extremely mediocre with a cast of misfits that went from making the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times in 4 years to being a first round out. Injuries ravaged the entire roster as well, including Jaylen Brown, whose untimely season-ending injury kept him out for the playoffs, meaning Jayson Tatum literally had to drop 50 points to get a play-in win and to prevent a sweep to the Brooklyn Nets. Fast forward to now, the Boston Celtics are in a very awkward spot once again and won't have Tatum to backpack this time around. With Big Deuce set to miss the entirety of the 2026 NBA season, and with the team dealing Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis for cap reasons, the Celtics clearly aren't the 2024 juggernauts that won it all in dominating fashion. Heck, due to their current roster, many see this upcoming season as a complete wash. But in my book, the Celtics can be a solid team in the Eastern Conference and can make the right steps to make this transition year an eventful one. Here's just how the Boston Celtics season could play out, including expectations, further trades or shakeups that could happen, and whether this team is a dangerous squad or a team that will be a seller by the trade deadline. First things first, we have to acknowledge the talent that's still on this team and why it still gives them hope in a wide open Eastern Conference. The Celtics still have an All-NBA player in Jaylen Brown, who has proven to step up with or without Jayson Tatum on the floor. He's a player who was an all-star on 22 points per game, 5 rebounds and 5 assists on 46% from the field, and in the 10 games that Tatum missed this past season, which includes the 2025 NBA playoffs, those numbers jumped to 24 points per game, 7 rebounds and 7 assists on 47% from the field and 35% from 3. Brown is a strong, great athlete who excels in attacking the rim, having the ball handling, counters, footwork, and strength to beat his man off the dribble, attack closeouts, and finish well through contact. He finished at 63% at the rim this past season and is known greatly for the factor he can be in transition, being a break starter, having the ability to accelerate and decelerate in the open floor to work around defenders, and having the lateral quickness to roam the floor and finish well as a ball handler or even a lob target. He's a pull-up shooting threat in transition as well, can operate with his back to the basket in the half court and create space to pull up for a mid-range jumper or turnaround jumper, and he's good at getting to his spots on the floor. Defensively, he can be a factor in passing lanes, and his ability on the ball creates even more of those aforementioned transition opportunities for the Celtics. Many feel that Brown being a lead option for this team means that Brad Stevens will be sitting patiently at the 2026 NBA draft lottery, citing that he doesn't have a tight enough handle or the decision making necessary to be a high level creator, which is compounded by the fact that they won't have a plethora of great to elite creators without Tatum. However, this is a capable pick-and-roll ball handler whose ability to attack creates opportunities for others, and he just set a career high at 4.5 assists a game. As the undisputed #1 option now, you expect even more out of Brown. He just needs to be a better decision maker in traffic. Plus, he dropped the AT&T sponsorship, so I think you'll be fine even with high usage. If you're enjoying this video thus far, be sure to leave a like as that makes a massive difference for the channel, and be sure to sub for even more content like this. The next player we need to talk about is Anfernee Simons, a player we don't even know will play for the Celtics this upcoming season. The Celtics are rumored to be dealing Simons because they are still barely slightly over the second tax apron and are around $13 million over the first apron, and they might not be able to afford him on an extension if he plays very well for them this upcoming season. It's also important to note that Simons isn't the prototypical guard that's been coached by Joe Mazzulla. Mazzulla inherited Marcus Smart and then had Derrick White and Jrue Holiday as his starting backcourt, all of whom play exceptional defense. Simons hasn't been the greatest defender in the slightest since entering the NBA, and is looked as just as a volume scorer. But if the Celtics keep him, he can be a great offensive punch for a team that will greatly miss the production of Jayson Tatum, and he could definitely take some of the offensive load off of Jaylen Brown. The great part about Simons' game is that he takes a high volume of threes at 8 a game at 36%, which falls well within Joe Mazzulla's analytical mindset, and he takes the bulk of these threes off the dribble. Sidestep threes, step back threes, and out of pick and roll, Simons is a good shot maker who can be a good creator, get to the rim, and pose as a threat as a pull-up shooter. This is a guy who can score in bunches, averaging 21 points per game over the last 3 seasons, is a capable playmaker, and he is an expiring deal. Another top option for this team this upcoming season is Derrick White, a player who's been a revelation for this team since touching down in 2022. White's best assets, in my opinion, are his off-ball ability and defensive versatility. He just set the record for the most three-pointers made in a single season in Celtic history, and that's not a coincidence given his volume, ability to knock them down at a high clip, and his ability to relocate across the perimeter and be a catch-and-shoot threat. This is the reason why he's been able to play so well off of others, and also aids him to have massive scoring games where he appears to be the best player on the floor despite sharing the floor with both Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. In terms of his defense, this is a guard who's routinely one of the league leaders in contest and has the physical tools to be impactful on the end. He's an excellent screen navigator, never gives up on plays, has excellent ball skills, and is a great help defender who led the entire team actually in blocks at 80. White is my favorite role player in the NBA and would be a dream for almost every team, but the problem for him this upcoming season is that he's going to have even more responsibility on the ball without the added benefit of playing off of very talented players like he did in the past. It's not that he can't do it, as he's shown to be a capable playmaker and ball handler in the pick and roll, but he's essentially jumping from the third or fourth creator behind JT, JB, and Holiday to rising up greatly in that pecking order. One fun fact about Derrick White is that he and Payton Pritchard made NBA history this past season, being the first teammates in history to knock down 9 threes in the same game, becoming the first Celtic teammates ever to each score 40 points in the same game. This is the same Payton Pritchard who won 6th Man of the Year on 14 points per game and 3.5 assists on 47% from the field and 41% from 3 on 8 attempts a game. A significant jump in his 3-point attempts from the 2024 season. Just like Derrick White, he's an ideal off-ball threat who can wreck teams on drive and kick opportunities, as someone who is lethal in catch-and-shoot situations, on above-the-break threes, and in transition. Pritchard can hit both uncontested and contested looks and has deep range as well, and he has ability on the ball. He's shown to be a decent passer in pick-and-roll situations, he can bring the ball up the floor in transition, and is an effective finisher. The goal for him next season is to build upon his 6th Man of the Year campaign with the responsibilities he'll now have given the fact that defenses are going to pay even more attention to him. With the 28th pick, the Celtics selected Hugo Gonzalez, a wing with a good 6'7" frame who competes on both ends, showing his ability to fight through screens and have good ball denial, and even shot 3 of 5 from 3 in his preseason game against the Memphis Grizzlies. He has a good feel for the game and has good instincts with the ball, and will be very impactful with time. While there is much room for him to improve, he may have a lot of time to develop in this transition season. The scary part about this team, in a bad way, is their front court depth. This is a team that routinely had one of the better front courts with Tatum, KP, and Horford, but now it's the mini fridge in Georges Niang, Neemias Queta, Xavier Tillman, and Luka Garza. Yikes. The lack of front court depth isn't just a massive offensive loss for this team, but I'd argue that it even hurts them more on the defensive end. This is where the potential Simons deal comes into play, with them hopefully getting a front court player in exchange for expiring deal, but that's only if teams want to take on his deal and have an ideal fit for him on the roster. As for expectations, I genuinely think this team will be a play-in team at least, assuming that health is on their side, given the coaching and talent that this team has, and the fact that the East is very wide open. Given their drop in defensive and offensive production in the front court and backcourt, this team still does have a clear ceiling, but winning a title is never the objective for 2026. Seeing internal improvement and development of Hugo Gonzalez, Amari Williams, and Max Shulga if they get burned, as well as seeing what Brown, White, Pritchard, and potentially Simons can do with more opportunity, will be fun to see, and the results could also be used to determine whether these pieces are the right building blocks to surround Jayson Tatum with when he's healthy in the future. I personally don't see the Celtics being sellers at the deadline because they will assuredly be in the playoff hunt. So I think it would be best for them to run the course for when JT gets back for the 2027 NBA season. With that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts below on the Boston Celtics and your expectations of this upcoming season. Do you think this team will be a top 5 seed in the East, or is their ceiling a play-in team, or even a team that's in the NBA lottery? Also, if you want to know about Joe Mazzulla's crazy and outstanding path to becoming the Boston Celtics coach, click on the video on the screen.